Hi guys, so I'm involved in a DBT podcast that happens every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We start the podcast on Twitch, which is hosted by the lovely Elektra. The others in participation are myself, I call myself Hooter Online, Lexi and Marie, and of course Elektra. We go over a lot of the different skills that it's used in DBT and kind of just share what information we have. None of us are actually licensed mental health practitioners, therapists, counselors, so anything that we share online, this is just, our personal experience and what we know. I would speak with your own healthcare providers if you're interested in DBT. You can usually speak to your individual therapist, or you can ask your provider if they know any group therapy sessions or meetings that might be happening. I guess it would also help to know what dialectical behavioral therapy is, the DBT. It's a type of cognitive behavioral therapy. Its main goals are to teach people how to live in the moment, develop healthy ways to cope with stress, regulate their emotions, and improve their relations with others, which is pretty much like a breakdown of the 4 different modules you cover during DBT. It usually takes about a year to go through it. I know before I graduated from my group, I was actually in it for 2 years, so I got to go about 2.5 runs through every module. Like I said, I think I said it treats things like border personality disorder, eating disorders, substance use disorders, suicidal ideation, and self-harm. I myself personally have bipolar, PTSD, and generalized anxiety. These help people who have an unstable sense of self, intense emotions, impulsive actions, relationship difficulties, and black and white thinking. The first word of DBT, dialectical, captures the treatment's foundation. Dialectic philosophy featuring these core beliefs. All things are interconnected, change is constant and inevitable, and opposites can be integrated to get closer to the truth. Let's do a breakdown of what's in DBT. So as I said, there's different modules that are involved in DBT, which include mindfulness, interpersonal effectiveness, emotion regulation, and distress tolerance. Just for a brief rundown, the core mindfulness skills are wise mind, which is integration of reasonable mind and emotional mind, observe, that means just noticing, describe, put words on observations and just using the facts, not, your own personal beliefs or feelings. Participate, you enter into the experience. A lot of people who go through mental health issues have a problem with dissociating, getting away from those emotions, and then they just don't even experience them. Being non-judgmental, separating the facts from interpretations, don't judging. Being one mindfully, present in the moment, focusing on one thing in the moment. Effectiveness, focus on and do what works. Then the second section is the interpersonal affective skills. These help improve helping people understand what your needs are in relationships and helping develop effective ways of dealing with others in order to get your wants and needs in a healthy way. Figure out your interpersonal goals. Clarify priority of objects, relationships, and self-respect. There's different skills you use. We've got DEAR, which is describe, express, assert, and reinforce. MAN, mindful, broken record, ignore attacks, appear confident, and negotiate. Dear man are 2 that really get coupled a lot together. Using a dear man, you'll hear that phrase a lot. Another one is give, gentle, interested, validate, easy manner. And then fast, fair, no apologies, stick to values, and be truthful. And then you attend to relationships. Part of this is repairing old relationships, being able to begin new ones. The next module is called emotion regulation. These skills help people understand their emotions. It teaches people to decrease the intensity of their feelings and helps them write out strong emotions without acting on them. It improves education about the function of emotions and how not to be swamped by them. So, essentially, you're not getting rid of these emotions. You're still going to feel scared or upset, angry, but it teaches you not to lose yourself in these emotions. The biggest and one of the most important ones is acting opposite to an emotion. Fear, you approach it instead. Guilt, apologize. Sadness, get active. Anger, avoid. I mean, there's just a lot of these. Instead of things working out as event, thought, emotion is what you're aiming for. But, most people who have the problem that it's like, event happens, emotion happens, then the thought happens afterwards. So putting the thought before the emotion is a big part of the opposites. And I'm so sorry, I've got my rabbit running around back here behind me. So that was a little distracting, sorry. Problem solving, that is the next part of the emotion regulation, when facts themselves are the problem. We accumulate positives, which is increasing positive emotions and events, and then building mastery, coping ahead. You do things that make you feel competent. You prepare and you practice. Like in this case, you know that you get anxious when you go shopping, so you're going to have, cope aheads that help you still go through with this thing so that you can build a mastery and be able to do this easier and easier each time. See, the please master, I'm just going to go ahead and warn you guys, the letters on this are a little weird. I don't know where the PLEASE comes from, but it involves taking care of your physical illnesses, balancing your sleep, balancing your eating, balancing your exercise, avoiding alcohol and drugs, because a lot of times with mental health issues, those things can really set those off. And then you're building your mastery over all of the emotional regulation skills. All right, and then distress tolerance. I can't talk today. Distress tolerance helps people get through difficult times when emotions are running high. It teaches people to soothe themselves in healthy ways when they are feeling upset rather than becoming overwhelmed by emotions or hiding from them. This allows individuals to make wise decisions about whether and how to take action, rather than falling into intense, desperate, and often destructive emotional reactions. Crisis survival skills are also taught so that one does not engage in problematic behaviors and ultimately make the situation worse. Reality acceptance skills focus on helping people fully accept reality and provide a guideline for responding to painful aspects of life. We go over these skills a whole bunch during the DBT group, especially during the podcast. Our favorite one is TIP. Temperature, intense exercise, and progressive relaxation, which is 2 P's. There's the breathing, and then there's also the paired with the muscle tensing and relaxing. There's also pros and cons in the distress tolerance, listing pros and cons for tolerating and not tolerating distress. There's also the distract and soothe, which equals the 5 senses and improving the moment. Your accepts are activity, contributing, comparisons, emotions, opposite, pushing away thoughts, others, sensations, and then improving is imagery, meaning, prayer, relaxation, one thing at a time, vacation, encouragement. I know, like, when you run through it like that, it sounds really confusing, but a lot of that stuff is just getting yourself through those hard emotions so that when you are in a more stable position, you can handle them. Some more skills are observing your breath. Observe the breath, center yourself. You'll find in a lot of all the mindfulness stuff, breathing is a huge part of, getting yourself in control. Radical acceptance. Radical acceptance. Choosing to accept even things that are really hard. A big one that I've learned about radical acceptance is radically accepting that you might have to struggle with radically accepting something multiple times. Sometimes this might include, you've got a relative that you cannot control the way they act. You have to radically accept that they are not going to change. The only thing in that situation that will change is your reaction to that person. One of the next skills is willingness, which is really important. Doing just what is needed. You have to be willing to do it. A big part of DBT, a lot of therapists won't even recommend, some patients doing DBT because if they might not be in that position in their life yet where they're willing to put the effort in to improve themselves. And then the last skill for the distress tolerance is half smiling. Accepting with your body, relaxed face muscles. When you're depressed, you might not want to smile, but, half smile, you typically, your body will start being like, okay, I need these emotions, and then it'll fill it in, and you'll start to feel good. But that is the breakdown of all of those things. I think that'll be all that I covered today. If anybody has any other questions, if anyone specifically wants a certain area of DBT to be covered, just let me know, message me. I'll give a link to my Discord for the DBT stuff in the description. I'll also give a link to the Twitch for the podcast and everything. So if you want me to cover anything or talk more about something, just please let me know. Thank you so much for watching.